Black Friday is in less than a day, just a few hours' time, and consumers aren't the only ones looking for a bargain. South Africa is among the top 10 countries with high cyber crime, and experts are warning consumers to beef up their online shopping security to prepare for one of the biggest retail events of the year. Now, according to cybersecurity company ESET SA, passwords are among one of the most important security measures you and I should have. What other security measures should we look out for ahead of tomorrow's shopping influx? Carey van Vlaanderen is ESET SA CEO, and she joins us this morning. Carey, it's great to talk to you. Thanks very much for coming on. We're all out for a bargain, right? As are the cyber scammers.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the cyber criminals haven't changed. They use any big event, and as an example, Black Friday is one of them. And of course, because it means that there's way more traffic online, and that's what they use. And I don't know about you, but I love the convenience of online shopping. I love embracing technology, but we need to be a little bit cautious. And it's important for South Africans and I guess anybody in the world to really educate themselves about what they need to look for online. And password protection and password management has always been at the top of the list. I don't know about you. It's really difficult to manage 101 different passwords, especially if you're using lots of different apps. So that's where we talk about helping people out with something what we call a password manager.
And for those of us who do have the same password, and it happens all the time, right? Our older family members can maybe relate to this. I'm not going to have, as you say, 100 different passwords. I'm going to use one password, maybe change the one number at the end. What's an easy way for me to go onto Password Generator, get a unique password, and just beef up my security online?
I don't even think it's just the older generation that do that. I think many people reuse the same password. And you remember, when you're using the same password, it just takes one breach of your password in order to get into many different accounts, especially if you think about your phone, how much you do on your phone and how much shopping you do on your phone. So what we suggest is, obviously, if you are using a traditional password, that you make one that is mixed with letters and characters and numbers. But as you said, it's extremely difficult to remember that. And that is what a password manager does for you. It will create and generate the unique passwords for you and store them for you. So it's an application that you use on top of all your other devices.
Okay.
And it allows you to get into your applications knowing that it is a one-time password that has been generated by this password manager.
I see. And is that app actually called Password Generator?
So it depends on, there's many different products. As for example, ESET has a password manager within their home product, but there are many different tools that you can just Google and look for password manager. I use 1Password as well. That's also a great tool. And it's really important because then once somebody is in your device, if you have a password manager, they're not going to get in, number one. And number two, you can have other layers of defense. So for example, your two-factor authentication, I'm sure if you've logged into your bank before, that is what a two-factor authentication is. It's allowing something you've put in the password, and then, of course, they ask you for a 2FA, a two-factor one-time PIN. And of course, that's really important. There's other lines of defense. We talk about multi-layer defense lines instead of just one. But your password manager is absolutely the best way for people to have this high-intensity, well-generated, strong password without having to remember it.
Yeah, absolutely. So password manager is the one. Two-step verification is an incredibly important layer of security, right? So whether you're getting a one-time PIN via SMS or you're getting that PIN sent to your Gmail, you need to go into your different apps and you actually need to enable two-step verification, and you actually need to take a few steps to set that up.
Exactly. And I know it's a pain to go into each app and set your privacy settings and security settings, but it's essential especially when you're doing something like online shopping. The other way is also to double check. Once you go to a website, I always say the biggest issue that in South Africa, in fact, phishing is the highest attack vector, up to 20%. The highest, and actually that's a global statistic as well. So it's important what phishing attacks use, and that's the phishing with a PH, not the phishing you go for a nice muscle cracker. That is the phishing that you do. The attackers are using that to get into your email, literally by sending you a link. And it's extremely enticing this time of the year. We're sent many, many different wonderful bargains, and it's enticing to say, wow, I really would love that. I want to go and click on the link. But actually, the best thing to do is if you really, really want to look for that deal, go type the URL directly into your web browser rather than clicking on any links. That's the easiest way for attackers to get in is through a human, through clicking on a link.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, those SMSs look so inviting. As a rule of thumb, though, going into Black Friday, and this is probably a rule of thumb for just generally throughout the year, do not click on a link that you get through SMS or even through email.
I would say never click on any links, because gone are the days when I started in the industry, it was really easy to pick up these fake emails or texts or WhatsApp messages. But in fact, they become extremely sophisticated. They replicate the retailer, in this case, extremely well, and they're really difficult to spot. So the easiest rule is just to say, rather just don't click on anything and go directly to the site yourself. I as well have learned the nice tips of Black Friday that you actually go in advance and load your cart. So you know you're going to the authentic website. You're not being enticed by some other email or WhatsApp to go and click on a link, because absolutely the attackers continue to use phishing because they're using human vulnerability. And of course, this is an exciting time. We all want to enjoy technology, but this is definitely a time of the year that they use to get into each individual's portfolios.
And it does appear, Carey, as you say, they are incredibly sophisticated, these phishing scams. The emails or the links that we're being sent, they look very legitimate. They look like the product you might be searching for, right? Can you answer this? How is it that particular people will get particular SMSs and links for retailers that they do frequent? How does that happen?
Yeah, so the cyber criminals have been doing this for years, but as you know, the advances in technology, which are great for us, are also against us. So the technology that we're using in terms of artificial intelligence and machine learning, that's exactly what the cyber criminals are doing. They have proper businesses set up. They have APT groups are literally known throughout the world to be able to use any technology in order to use the algorithms to pick up what are you actually searching for and remarket you with some kind of cyber criminal attack vector. Yeah,
that's incredibly scary. And I wonder whether, because of this fear around online shopping and phishing scams and the like, whether retailers are going to suffer on their bottom lines this Black Friday if people rather just choose for their own safety to stay away.
I never actually say stay away from technology. I love using it myself. It's just about making yourself aware. Yeah. There's absolutely amazing software that you can use that even if you are a person that is enticed by the link, you could have a software that has a phishing filter in it. So you're less likely to be able to get a phishing email. I really would rather tell people to be wise, use all the traditional suggestions that I've given you, and things like updating your software. A lot of these vulnerabilities that they use are known vulnerabilities within apps. And if you literally just update your software, you're already halfway there. So it's really important just to do the basic stuff. You know, your password, ensuring that you've got a good phishing filter on your devices, especially phones. People mustn't forget that their phones are a major attack vector too, and getting into multiple apps just from using one password as well. So I would rather entice people to educate themselves on the best practice and make sure that they're up to date, like you said, on their privacy settings, rather than not using technology at all.
Carey van Vlaanderen is the CEO of ESET South Africa. Let me thank you for your time this morning. As we head into Black Friday, take all of the necessary steps to protect yourself.